Hello everyone, this is Nitpicking Nerd, and today I want to talk about the recent rumors about a new Picard prequel show with a new actor, a younger actor playing Picard in his younger days, and my opinion on all of that, which I think you can guess what I think about it. And they couldn't even get it right when they had Patrick Stewart, the real Captain Picard. They couldn't do a decent show even with him. So what do you think would happen with a brand new actor trying to play a younger Picard and probably not being anything like him and being reinvented as a character, as a younger, edgier version of the character, which is an idea that by itself could have been good if I had any faith in the writers and producers to actually do it. And also, there is no real reason to make it Picard. Just do a new character. If you have an idea for an interesting story and an interesting character, just create a new character in a new setting and do something new and fresh. What's the point to call him Picard at all, unless it's just a cash grab, just because they want to lure the fans of the old Star Trek show to force them to watch it, and that's why they're making it a young Picard. There is no real need for it. There are many characters in pop culture and even in Star Trek that I would be fine with recasting them because it's necessary to tell their story which wasn't told yet. There are a lot of characters in Deep Space Nine whose story wasn't completely finished, that they can do more with that specific character, which would be very interesting, but some of the actors are either too old, some of them passed away, and that's too bad. And so in those cases I might be fine with recasting the character to continue their story because it has so much potential. And even in some cases prequels can be interesting if there is an interesting story there that cannot be done with a different character or cannot be done as well. And so if it's some kind of classic character, like Darth Vader, for example, you can theoretically create a brand new character that might be similar and just do a new story with that character, but it won't be as cool as having Darth Vader having his own movie or a TV show or maybe another prequel somehow that would be done right this time. And so that's just one example of the kind of character that I would be fine with adding more stuff to it because the potential is there. But there are all kinds of characters whose backstory is not really that interesting, and I guess you can make it interesting, but then what's the point to tie it to a specific character that we know already? Why not just create a new character and give that interesting story to that new character, and then you'll have a brand new character? So isn't that better? So the only reason they want to recycle the names of the old characters is because they don't have any imagination and they don't want to take any risks. They want to draw the fans of the old shows and to exploit the stories that are going around anyway. So there is the potential to do a good story, but there is no real need for it. And with characters like Picard, the most interesting time of his life was his time as a Starfleet captain. That's what we saw already. What's the point to show us what happened in his childhood or in the academy or when he was an ensign? It would no doubt be less interesting than what we already saw. Star Trek is supposed to be about going to distant space, encountering brand new things that no one ever saw before, and then you're amazed by that. But if you do a prequel in Star Trek with a character that we know, then you're limiting yourself. You can't really do anything you want anymore, because then how come Picard was so amazed later on in his life when he met, for example, that biological creature in space? He was so amazed by that as if he never saw that before. So that immediately means you cannot do anything like that in the prequel, because then why would he be amazed later in life? And you can't really do any epic stories with him in the past of him saving the whole galaxy, because then how come he wasn't really that famous when TNG started. He was just a captain. It was before he saved the whole galaxy and all of that. So if you do a prequel about him, then you're tying your own hands. You wouldn't be able to do anything unless, it all gets classified later somehow. So maybe Picard secretly went on some secret adventures and saved the whole galaxy without anyone knowing it, which is kind of silly also. And no doubt such a show or a movie would have a whole bunch of continuity mistakes and all of that, and the mannerisms of the characters and all of that will not fit. We will not be able to accept him as a new character. Maybe with the new deepfake technology, we can simply turn him into a young Patrick Stewart later, which it might be interesting to see that. But I think any such project cannot really be a long series. It can be a fun episode or a short movie, but you can't really base a whole series on that. How interesting is it to show him as a kid in the vineyard and arguing with his father about going to the academy and having a bully brother and then becoming the marathon champion of the academy and then gets his first mission, then he gets stabbed in the heart. We saw all of that already. We know about all of that. What's the point to show it to us again, what we already know? It will just be remaking the same stuff. It's basically like rebooting it. The only way it might be interesting is if they do kind of a reboot of the whole thing like they did with the young Kirk in the JJ movies. At least there they had the excuse that it's all a new timeline in which things might happen differently. And that way at least they can change things and they can do things differently and do some new things with the new characters, so it's more of a reboot. So at least that will make it more interesting because it might be unexpected. You can do a lot of crazy stuff without violating continuity and without tying your hands with the continuity and without just being annoying of how they remake the things that we saw already but not looking the same. And so, you know, seeing the Nausicaan stabbing him through the heart again, we'll just be comparing it with the old show. And so what's the point to do any of that? The only way it might be interesting if they show us some chapter of his life that we never heard about and never saw. Maybe he was sent on some classified mission into Cardassian territory to destroy some biological weapons. I don't know. Technically they can do that and make it exciting and interesting, but why not just use a new character? What's the point to shoehorn in things to existing characters that we know about? And so it will just be a continuity mess. It will just annoy the fans of the old Picard because the new Picard will not be similar enough, and probably they'll do a bunch of in-jokes which might be annoying, and all kinds of stuff like that is really not necessary, especially in a franchise like Star Trek, which should be about encountering new things, going out into space, meeting new civilizations. What's the point of artificially limiting that potential into the backstory of some character that we know all about already? So should we really have to see it, all the things that were mentioned about him? Oh, how he met Beverly Crusher, his friendship with Jake Crusher, how he managed to get into the academy after failing the first time, how he met Boothby, how he won the marathon race in the academy, how he went on his first mission. None of those things are really that exciting, and it's all very limited, and we know it already. So what's the point, unless the writers simply don't have any imagination that they have to simply show the things that we know already from the dialogue? So why not simply do something new with the new character? It's totally pointless. It's a cash grab. They're just wanting to do it to cash in on the name recognition, on the brand of it, and it doesn't really serve any purpose creatively. You don't have to use the same characters, just let it rest. And they even failed to make an interesting story when they had Patrick Stewart in the Star Trek Picard show. You had the original actor, you can do a continuation of the character, you can do something new, something interesting, but you screw it up and you don't do anything and it's just a pathetic show, even though you had the same actor, and you simply wasted that opportunity. And now you want to recast a new actor so that you can milk that character for many more years to come with a new actor. So this is a very bad idea in my opinion. Just create a new character in a new show with new stories and make those characters interesting. That will be so much better than just recycling the same stuff again and again with a bunch of in-jokes, I'm sure, and all that stuff, which sometimes can be fun if you look at it as a comedy, as a parody of it. If you want to make a parody, then just make a parody. Just make a comedy show which is a parody of Star Trek, you know, just like Galaxy Quest or the Orville and stuff like that. Then just do that. If you don't have any imagination to create new stories and you just want to recycle everything, then just at least make it more comedic, at least make it a self-parody, at least we'll have some kind of entertainment value out of it. But don't just do the lazy route of just, oh, let's do a prequel about Picard, let's do a prequel about Worf. How was Worf raised on Earth? Let's show that. Let's show little Worf as a boy running on Earth and playing soccer and killing some kid during the game by head bumping into him. Show all the drama, it's very interesting. It's not Star Trek. It's a soap opera set in the Star Trek universe, but it's not Star Trek. Star Trek, you're supposed to go out and meeting new things. That's what made it interesting. We already saw the most interesting period in Picard's life, which was when he was on a starship going out into far space. That's the most interesting time of his life, and we've seen that already. And that's the kind of show that we want to see, with new original stories. Then it will be fun. I don't want to see prequels about his time on Earth when he was a kid. It's totally pointless. If it's in one episode, if it's in a few scenes that tie into something in the present, in the future, then it can be fine. But don't make a whole show about that. That's not interesting. It will fail. It's not a good idea. That's my opinion on it. So I just wanted to share it. Let me know what you think, and we can discuss it in the comments below. And I will see you all next time. Bye bye.